Hey there, hope you're having a wonderful day. So in the previous video, we went over how to shoot bullets at the Metal enemies. And the Metal enemies are also able to shoot bullets at Mega Man, but we haven't implemented that, so we are going to implement that in this video. But in the previous video, we added a change so that the Metal enemies will always face the direction Mega Man is located in. That way, once we implement the bullets for Metal, Mega Man wouldn't be able to dodge the bullets simply by jumping behind the Metal. So let me show you what we have so far. So I have the Metals here and I can hop over and you can see all the Metals change to face the right. And if I move left, all the Metals change to face left again. And I can fire bullets at the Metals. So now what we're going to do is have the Metals fire bullets at Mega Man, and the Metals will fire bullets in the direction Mega Man is located in. So if Mega Man is to the left, the Metal will fire bullets to the left, and if Mega Man tries to run to the right, then Metal will turn around and face right and shoot bullets towards the right direction. Okay? Alright, so this is the Metal bullet sprite, and it's different from the bullet that Mega Man fires. So this bullet is smaller, but Metal can fire 3 at once. And this bullet is a square, actually. Alright, so let's load the bullet image, and before we do so, we need to specify the width and height. So over here, I'm going to add Metal underscore bullet width, and this is going to be 12 pixels. And since this is a square, Metal underscore bullet height is also going to be 12 pixels. So here I'll just set it to Metal bullet width. Now I'm also going to specify the velocity. So here you can see we have velocity X. So when Mega Man fires a bullet, it only goes in the horizontal direction. So for that reason, we only have velocity X. However, when Metal fires bullets, Metal can fire 3 at once. One goes straight in the horizontal X direction, and the other two go in opposite directions. So they go straight, but one goes up as well, and the other goes down. So for that reason, we need to have a bullet velocity X and bullet velocity Y for the Metal bullet. So here I'll do Metal underscore bullet underscore velocity underscore X, and this is going to be 2. And this is going to be slower than the Mega Man bullet because we have 3 bullets from the Metal, and you can have multiple Metals on the map. So for that reason, we're going to make the enemy bullets slower. And then here I'll add a Y direction. So I'm just going to change this to Y and set it to Metal bullet velocity X. Now the next thing we need to do is load the image. So I'm going to scroll down over here and let's add Metal image bullet load image Metal dash bullet.png, and then the width is going to be Metal bullet width, and the height is going to be Metal bullet height. Alright, so now that we have the image loaded, we need to create a class for the bullet. So similar to what we did for the player, we created a bullet class that is nested inside the player class. We need to do the same exact thing for the Metal class so that we can create these bullet objects for the Metals. So I'm going to go to the Metal class, and over here, let's create a bullet class. So it's going to inherit from pygame.rect. And this is pretty much going to be the same as the bullet class that you'll find in the player class. So I'm going to create a constructor. And unlike the player, the Metal is not a global variable, so we need to pass in the Metal. And the reason why we pass in the Metal is because we need to check which direction the Metal is facing in, as well as the X and Y position of Metal. And here I'll pass in a velocity Y value as well. So we did not have this in our player's bullet class. So if I scroll up, you can see we don't pass in anything because 1, the player is a global variable. So we could just access the X and Y positions of the player like so. And we don't have a velocity Y for the bullet. So as I mentioned before, Metal can fire 3 bullets and 2 of them go in opposite directions in the Y axis. So vertically. So let's go back down, and over here, you could just copy and paste the code from the bullet class in the player class, but I'm just going to write everything out. So if Metal.direction is left, so if Metal is facing left, then Pygame.rect._init self metal.x, metal.y, and remember metal.y is the top of the metal, so we want metal to fire a bullet from the midpoint of the metal image, so we're going to do tile size divided by 2, okay? And then we need to pass in the width and height of the bullet, so it's just metal bullet width and metal bullet height. Okay, so we've created a rectangle for the bullet. Now we need to give it a velocity x. So if metal is facing left, then the bullet is going to the left, so that is in the negative x direction. So self.velocity x is negative metal bullet velocity x. And then we'll do elif metal.direction is equal to right. I'm just going to copy and paste this, and we need to change some things here. The x position is going to be the right side of metal, so this is going to be plus metal.width. So remember, .x refers to the left side of the metal. So if metal is facing right, we want the bullet to come out of the right side of metal, which is metal.x plus metal.width. And since the bullet is going to the right, that is in the positive x direction, so this should be positive, okay? So velocity x should be a positive number. All right, so that is the difference between firing to the left and firing to the right. Now I'm going to assign self.velocity y to whatever we pass in. And then we need to give this bullet class an image, so self.image is going to be metal image bullet. And we have one more field to add, and that is self.used. So similar to the bullets that Mega Man fires, once the bullet comes into contact with its target, we will count that bullet as used and make it disappear. So by default, this is going to be false. All right, so we have the bullet class, and now we need to create the bullets. And so for each metal, we're going to have a separate list to store all the bullets. So here I'm going to add self.bullets, and this is going to be a list. And self.shooting, we will set this to false. So we're pretty much doing the same thing we did for implementing the shooting bullets for Mega Man. So this should ring a bell if you've seen that previous video. So let's create a new method to set shooting to true for the metal. So when we call this method, it's going to be self.shooting. We flip this to true. And then we need to create some bullets. So I'm going to do self.bullets.append, and I'm going to create a bullet object. And we need to pass in two parameters, the metal and the velocity y. And here you can see we have an error here, and that is bullet is not defined. And that is this bullet class is inside the metal class. So we need to specify that. So it's metal.bullet. And for the metal that we're passing in, we'll just pass in this metal. So I'll do self, which refers to this instance of metal. And I'm going to pass in negative metal bullet velocity y. So this is going to go upwards and horizontally. And then let's copy and paste this. And for this one, we're going to make this 0. So this means that there's no velocity y and there's only a velocity x. So this bullet goes straight. Let's paste one more time, and this one is going to be positive. So positive velocity y means it is going down. So if this one is going horizontally and up, then it's going diagonally upwards. And this one is just going straight horizontally. And this bottom one is going down and straight, so diagonally downwards. All right, so we have this method created. Now we just need to call it, and we're going to call this inside the move function. So we're going to set shooting to true for metal and move all the bullets, and then we need to draw the bullets. So let's scroll down to our move function. And over here, where we iterate through all the metals, I'm going to add a section for enemy bullets. So we'll do metal.setShooting. And then we're going to iterate through the bullets list for this current metal. Okay, so we have a for loop for the metals, and within each metal, we're going to have another for loop for all the bullets. So for bullet in metal.bullets, bullet.x plus equal bullet.velocityx. And then bullet.y plus equal bullet.velocityy. And then let's draw the bullets. So over here, where we iterate through all the metals and draw each one, we'll iterate through all the bullets for each Matal. So for bullet in Matal.bullets, window.bullet, bullet.image, and bullet. All right, let's see what we have so far. So I'm going to save and run the program. All right, and you can see the Matals are firing a lot of bullets, and they're pretty much lasers at this point. So we need to limit the number of bullets that the Matals are firing. But before we do so, I want to take care of a few things. So I'm going to scroll back up to our move function, and here we have the Matal bullets. And if we scroll up to the player bullets, you can see we make a check to see that if the bullets go out of range, then we discard them. Or if the bullets are used, then we discard them. So let's add this cleanup step as well as the collision detection. So I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to do if not player.invincible and player.collide rect with this bullet. So if the player touches the Matal, then the player loses 1 health. Since this is a bullet, we can have the player take more damage. So I'll do player.health minus equal 2. And then of course, bullet.used becomes true. And afterwards, I'll set player invincible. And then we need to do the cleanup step. So here I'll do Matal.bullets is a new list. So again, this is going to be a list comprehension. Bullet for bullet in Matal.bullets, if not bullet.used, and bullet.x plus bullet.width is greater than 0. So the right side of the bullet has not gone off the left boundary, and bullet.x is less than game width. So the left side of the bullet hasn't gone past the right boundary. So basically, if the bullet has not been used and is within the boundaries of the game, we keep them. Otherwise, we discard them. All right, let's save and run the program. Okay, so you can see the Matals are firing plenty of bullets. So Mega Man is taking damage, so losing 2 health points every time he collides with one of these bullets. So we have the bullets firing and we have the collision detection down and the cleanup as well. Now we need to fix this so that, like with Mega Man, the Matals should be firing bullets with a delay like Mega Man is doing. So let's scroll up to the set shooting method for Matal. And here you can see we do not make any check. Basically, we are always calling set shooting. For that reason, every frame, the Matals are firing a bullet. Now if I scroll up to our player class, you can see we have a check. If not already shooting, then we set shooting to true. So we have this check over here, and we have a timer to end this self.shooting to bring it back to false. And the way we implement this is with a custom event. Now we can only have 9 custom events, and we can have multiple Matals. So we can have more than 9 Matals. And for that reason, we cannot use our custom events for the Matal because then we will run out of custom events. So instead of doing this, what we're going to do is use a timer. So here I'm going to add another field, and this is going to be self.lastFired. And this is going to be a timestamp. It's technically not a timestamp, but it's going to be a counter. So this is going to be pygame.time.getTicks. So this is going to be an integer representing the number of milliseconds that have passed after we called pygame.initialize. So it's going to start from 0 and increment upwards. So if I scroll down over here, I'm just going to add a print statement. So print pygame.time.getTicks just to show you what this function does. So let's save and run the program. And you can see the Matals are firing bullets, and in our console, we are getting a number that is incrementing. So this is the number of milliseconds that have passed since we had Pygame initialize. So the idea here is we're going to mark this time using the getTicks method and save it to last fired. And then we're going to make a check and do the math to see if getTicks minus last fired is equal to 1 second, which is 1000 milliseconds. So this is basically called delta time. basically the difference in time elapsed. So I'm going to scroll back up, and over here in self.shooting, I'm going to make a check. So first, I will get the current time, or rather the current number of ticks. So how many milliseconds have passed. So I'll do now is equal to pygame.time.getTicks. And then if now minus self.lastFired is greater than 1000. So 1000 milliseconds is 1 second. So if the difference between these 2 points is greater than 1 second, then we can shoot. Alright, so if the time elapsed is greater than 1 second, then we will continue to fire. And what we need to also do is update the last fired. So when we fire, we need to update self.lastFired to this new point in time, which is now, okay? And I realized we don't actually need this self.shooting because the reason why we had it was to change the image of Mega Man. So we can actually get rid of this. And let's get rid of it over here as well. Alright, so all we need is this difference in time to fire. So Matal is going to continue to fire every second until Mega Man destroys the Matal. So let's save and run the program. And you can see the Matals are firing every second. Okay? And the bullets are going straight and diagonally up and down. Alright, so there's one more thing I want to add, and that is when the enemies fire bullets, they should only fire bullets if Mega Man is close enough. So if Mega Man is within range, then Matals should fire bullets. Otherwise, if Mega Man is far away, then the Matals wouldn't be able to see Mega Man and fire bullets. So here I'm going to do if absolute value of self.x, so the Matal's x position, minus player.x is less than or equal to tile size times 4. So let's indent this. And so basically, we are taking the difference in x position for the Matal and the player, and the reason why we use absolute value is because if Matal is to the left or right of the player, this difference would be negative or positive. And so if this difference is within 4 tiles, then Matal will fire bullets. And I'm going to scroll down here and just get rid of this print statement. Alright, so let's save and run the program. And Matal should only fire bullets if Mega Man is within 4 tiles away. Alright, so here you can see this Matal on top is firing bullets while the other 2 are not. And that is because Matal is within 4 tiles away from Mega Man. Now if I approach the other 2 Matals on the bottom, you can see they will start firing. And I can have Mega Man turn around. So now you can see the Matals also turn around. And yeah, so the Matals will fire bullets at Mega Man wherever he is located. Okay, and now if Mega Man hides behind here, we are no longer within the 4 tile range. And of course, we can fire bullets to destroy the Matals. Alright, so that's pretty much how you implement enemy bullets. So we have the Matals firing bullets at Mega Man every second until the Matals are destroyed. And of course, we can have Matals turn around if Mega Man goes past them. And we also implemented the collision detection and cleanup for those bullets as well. Alright, so that's it for this video. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to implement item drop. So we're going to add items to the game. Here you can see Mega Man's health bar is pretty much dead. And so we don't have any logic to check for game over, but if Mega Man had a bit more health here, we can destroy Matals and there's a chance that the Matals will drop an item and the item could be a healing item. So in the next video, we're going to implement item drop and collision with items. So specifically with a healing item that will restore health for Mega Man. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this video. Hopefully you found this video helpful. And if you did, make sure you give this video a like. If you have any questions, let me know down below in the comments. And if you want to stay up to date for more Python game programming tutorials like this one, make sure you subscribe to the channel and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!